Hey, it's Dr. Stone again, and today we're going to be talking about things that science once labeled as ridiculous, which we now know are absolutely true and part of our normal everyday lives. So, history is literally chock full of examples of science initially rejecting or doubting certain phenomenon or occurrences due to lack of understanding or lack of technology. Of course, they later had to acknowledge the fact that they were wrong and these things actually did exist. One of those things we just dealt with for the past few years, which is the germ theory of illness. Okay, so beforehand, people used to think that illness came from miasma or bad air, okay? Or, of course, supernatural forces, as I mentioned in my previous videos. The idea that tiny little organisms were the culprit here was looked at as absolute lunacy and absolutely, completely just rejected right off the bat. However, after the invention of the microscope in the 17th century, that was all proven wrong. So it wasn't supernatural forces, it wasn't bad air, it was in fact these little tiny things that we call bacteria and virus. Okay, so germ theory of illness was once thought to be ridiculous, but now we know it very well, every single one of us. Okay, so the subatomic particles and atoms, all right, these were thought to be made up nonsense. Okay, the ancient Greeks had this idea so long ago, and it up until even the 19th century, this idea was rejected by most scientists because we couldn't see them. And we still really can't see them. However, with technology improving, with scanning, tunneling, electron microscopes, things like that, now we do know that these things exist and we're able to detect them in different ways. So yeah, I mean, the ancient Greeks knew about it. How did they know? I have no idea. Continental drift. The idea that the continents moved across the Earth's surface was rejected by scientists outright. They thought that was ridiculous. How we have no way to see that, so therefore it doesn't exist. Okay, well, clearly it does exist. And with the discovery of plate tectonics, and now we know that that's a real thing. The electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so aside from light and color, they didn't believe that there was anything else out there. They didn't believe in gamma rays or X-rays, or radio waves or sound waves. None of that. But clearly we know that that is true now, and it's absolutely a thing. Okay, so this was nonsense once. Okay, keep that in mind. Black holes. Even Einstein didn't think that they existed. Okay, Einstein, IQ 181 allegedly. Okay, yeah, right. He didn't think it was really there, but guess what happened in 2019? We got a picture of one, so they're real. And again, science said that that was ridiculous. Ultrasound waves. The idea that there were sound waves that were above human perception was just seen as nonsense as well. And especially the idea that you could use these waves to see inside a person's body was considered to be absolute, again, crazy talk, right? But yeah, that's the thing. Dinosaurs. Prior to the discovery of fossils, of dinosaur fossils in the 19th century, okay, the idea that gigantic reptiles roamed the earth was stuff of children's nightmares and made up fantasy storybooks, okay? That was not real. And so many scientists said it was ridiculous and nonsense and just, but there's a lot of bones out there that like to argue otherwise, right? Earthquakes. Earthquakes used to be seen as being, the result of God being angered, and it was not accepted by science at all as a natural phenomenon. It was, we did something wrong. Clearly now, again, with plate tectonics being discovered, we know that that's not what's happening. We know that there are things happening underneath our feet that we can't see because they're deep down, but yet I live in Los Angeles. I deal with it a lot. I deal with it a lot. Let's just put it that way. I think we had 2 earthquakes today that were over 3.0. And last for this list is neuroplasticity. So the idea that your brain can regenerate or fix itself was very not accepted at all. Like, I remember this. Like, I remember growing up and being told, like, brain cells don't regenerate. If you kill a brain cell, that's it. You never get them back. It's fixed. You have a fixed number of neurons, and that's it. But that's not true. That is not true. We have multiple ways now of different brain imaging techniques that show us that actually is false. And this was a very recent discovery, but that just goes to show you that things are always changing, and what we think is nonsense today could be stuff that's considered absolutely normal and part of everyday life in the future. So again, I just want to remind everybody that just because we don't understand something doesn't mean it's not real. So, I see all of these people comment on things about, psychic phenomenon. And I'm not talking about the people that read psychically on TikTok. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that actually, are able to know things without knowing them, or know that something's wrong with somebody from far away and it turns out that it's true, like that kind of psychic stuff, not like for money psychic stuff, okay, or for likes psychic stuff. That stuff, and it boggles my mind that not everybody's had that happen to them, but I guess not. But doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that we don't understand it yet, but we're absolutely starting to. So just, again, like, I research this, academically. I research psychic ability, and specifically its ties to trauma in early childhood. But, and what I found is that many of these people that I've studied have these psychic abilities. And before you say that's ridiculous, remember all of the things in this list that I just told you about were once considered ridiculous too. So don't be that jerk that's one of the people that's like, that's ridiculous, only to later have to admit you're wrong, because most of you guys won't do that anyway. So anyways, and out.